Welcome! If you are watching this video, you are likely registered to submit a traditional WPE portfolio in March of 2023. This is the March 2023 WPE Workshop for the reading set topic, Imaginary Friends. My name is Betsy Gomez and I am the Associate Director of the Writing Proficiency Program. Program Coordinator Rose Mooney will be joining me in this presentation. Please make sure to bookmark our website, which is www.umb.edu/WPE. Our website houses some helpful content, such as the detailed WPE portfolio requirements, grading criteria, the WPE schedule, and copies of our resources, like the grid notes and these PowerPoint slides. You may also book quick question or hold release appointments via the link on our website's main page. The purpose of this short workshop is to familiarize yourself with the WPE grading standards and the portfolio requirements. We'll go over the submission process and submission schedule as well. We will also take some time to offer advice on how to write a successful WPE essay. This will include a discussion on what kind of essay to write, how to incorporate and give credit to sources, and how to make sure you are answering the essay prompt. Finally, we'll model how you can use an organizational tool like our grid notes to create an index of important quotes and make sure your challenge essay effectively engages with your sources. The criteria for EWRAP and WPE are the grading standards that will be used to grade your submission. The criteria was created by faculty at UMass Boston some time ago and is directly related to the aims of the general education program. According to the general education program, writing proficiency involves critical thinking, critical reading, and elements of writing. These capabilities are demonstrated within an essay by the following criteria: writing with a clear purpose, effectively utilizing source material, and organization. Keep in mind that we are not asking you to write a perfect essay. You are college students and you're still learning and growing as thinkers and writers. The graders expect your essay to demonstrate intermediate proficiency in writing. This means that the WPE is not a spelling or grammar exam. Instead, you are being graded on whether your essay clearly answers the essay prompt, on whether you engage with and utilize your sources in a way that supports your answer to the question, and on whether your essay is organized in a clear and understandable manner. It is very important that you write an essay that shows your thinking and point of view. We'll continue to remind you about this throughout the workshop. It's really that important. The WPE challenge essays are graded on a scale of 1 through 9. Developing essays earn scores between 1 and 3. Proficient essays earn scores between 4 and 6, and exemplary essays earn scores between 7 and 9. To pass the WPE, your essay must earn a score of 4 or higher from 2 different graders. Course papers provide a supporting role in the decision. Graders may consult them to assist with difficult decisions. Writing with a clear purpose involves having a sustained focus on a position, argument, or inquiry. Your position, argument, or inquiry are determined by what you think, usually in response to a prompt or assignment. So in this case, your challenge essay should focus on answering the prompt on page 1 of the Imaginary Friends reading set, which is, how and why do children with imaginary companions often become adults who like fantasy activities? A proficient essay would clearly state its focus or its answer to this prompt, and they would maintain that focus throughout the essay. A proficient essay also would present a methodical, connected discussion. Effectively utilizing source material involves carefully selecting, integrating, and explaining the source material and meaningfully applying that material in service of your essay's purpose. That means moving beyond summarizing and really digging into the ideas in the text and towards a meaningful engagement with those ideas. The source material you need to use for the March WPE are the 3 readings in the March WPE reading set by Trionfi and Reese, Marjorie Taylor, and Taylor et al. Please do not use any sources not in the reading set. You do not need to do any outside research. Part of the assignment is making sure that you can use the 3 articles in the reading set to make a clear, focused argument and utilize those sources effectively. A proficient essay in this case would engage in a conversation with the sources, so you might connect the source's ideas to your essay's purpose and argument. If you're writing a proficient essay, you might also relate the sources, ideas, and materials to your own ideas. And you would make the relevance of the quotes that you're using very explicit. A proficient essay explains and contextualizes ideas from sources, possibly by briefly reviewing the source's argument, putting their ideas into your own words, or illustrating them with fresh examples. Again, this means going beyond retelling what the authors said in the readings and actually applying what they said in a way that supports your overall argument. Organization guides the audience from one paragraph to another with effective transitions, and inside the paragraph, the sentences connect to one another to form coherent paragraphs. Organization indicates that you're aware of your reader's need to be guided through the flow of your ideas. In a proficient essay, each paragraph would signal a new idea and how that new idea is explicitly related to the previous paragraph and the overall purpose of your essay. Furthermore, in a proficient essay, sentences use forms that express meaning to the reader, and each sentence has a meaningful connection to the other sentences in the paragraph. The portfolio requirements include the challenge essay of 1,500 words or longer, and 3 course papers. One course paper must be 1,250 words or longer. The other 2 course papers can be 750 words or longer. If this is your first semester at UMass Boston, meaning you transferred in the spring of 2023, you are allowed to submit 2 course papers. One paper should be 1,250 words or longer, and the other paper can be 750 words or longer. All students submitting a WPE portfolio must write the challenge essay answering the WPE prompt. When you submit your portfolio on Blackboard, you'll also be given a link to a confirmation form, and the confirmation form includes an honesty statement and a brief survey that you can choose to complete. So all the course papers that you submit in your WPE portfolio should come from courses you took at UMass Boston. You are allowed to submit 2 papers from your intermediate seminar, or CRW 282, if you've taken that course in the past. You should include at least 1 paper from a course that is a 200 level or higher. So again, CRW 282, that's a 200 level course. Your paper should utilize sources, and a source can be anything from a journal article, book, lecture, work of art, really anything that you're citing and talking about in your essay. All papers should be analytical and present an argument, which means that personal narratives and reflections or creative writing pieces like short stories or poems are not appropriate for submission. If you have an essay like a lab report or something that's based on observation or a case study, you can email those papers to writing.proficiency@umb.edu, and we'll take a look at them and let you know if you can submit them. You can always email us any papers you're second guessing about submitting, and we'll take a look at them. And finally, if you're worried you don't have enough course papers, don't give up. Send us an email and we'll work with you. We do want you to submit your portfolio, and we'll do our best to help you. So if you're registered for the March WPE, you do need to submit the challenge essay. Anyone who's registered for the traditional WPE has to include the 1,500 word challenge essay. This is the main part of the portfolio that's being graded, so you do need to submit it. The challenge essay is based on the reading set and prompt that you receive via email after you register. So for March, the reading set is on the topic of imaginary friends. It's about, I think, 20 pages long. If you can't find it, send us an email and we'll resend it to you. But here's a screenshot of what the confirmation email looks like. You should receive that confirmation email immediately after you register. So you'll submit your portfolio via Blackboard. On March 15th, so after registration closes, you'll begin to have access to the WPE Blackboard course shell. So the Blackboard course is called CAS 015 WPE. We'll send you submission instructions on March 15th, and then you'll have until 11:59 on March 17th to submit your portfolio. We'll grade portfolios the next week from March 21st to the 23rd, and we'll email results on Friday, March 24th after 5 p.m. The email will contain what kind of result you received. So if you receive a pass, that means that you're done with the WPE, and congratulations. If you receive a retake result, it means that the WPE graders did not find that your submission met the grading criteria. So if you remember, you need to receive 2 scores of 4 out of 9 or higher to have a proficient or passing portfolio. If you do receive a retake, please make sure to sign up for retake counseling, which will take place from March 27th to March 31st. So during retake counseling, you'll go over the result of your portfolio with a faculty member via Zoom. You'll look at the graders' comments on your portfolio, and you'll also have the opportunity to revise your essay using the feedback from your retake counseling appointment. Revisions are due a week after your counseling appointment and are only accepted if you meet with a retake counselor, so it's important to schedule that appointment. Revisions will be graded by new faculty members. If your revision is not found to be proficient, you will need to attempt the WPE again, and the next WPE will be for a June 2023 submission, with registration opening on our website on May 1st.
We are now moving to the advice portion of our workshop. These are just a few tips to keep in mind as you start working on your WPE challenge essay. The most important component of a WPE challenge essay is your own thinking. If you don't express your ideas and provide logical support for your own ideas, you will not pass the WPE. Remember that the grading standards, focus, source use, and organization are all tied to your own thinking. Our first piece of advice includes a few do's and don'ts. Our first don't is don't write a report. Do write an essay. Do use the reading set sources. Don't over-summarize. But do engage with the sources. Finally, whether you quote, summarize, or paraphrase, do give credit when you are using someone else's ideas or words. Always give credit. We will break down this advice in more detail in the next couple of slides. The main difference between a report and an essay is that a report may have a lot of summary and is meant to inform the audience about something. An essay, meanwhile, has a small amount of summary. In an essay, the writer's goal is to persuade the audience that their argument is correct or important. You are the writer here, and your goal is to convince your readers. In an essay, you will take a position and present an argument that is supported by information and logic. As mentioned earlier, your own thinking is essential. The graders want to know what you think. It is important to answer the question as soon as possible, and ideally in the first paragraph. Your position or thesis statement is important because it is the heart of your essay. You can employ phrases from the question to create your position. For instance, the prompt asks, how and why do children with imaginary companions often become adults who like fantasy activities? A possible answer to this prompt could look something like, children with imaginary companions often become adults who like fantasy activities by a process of, which you would address how, which occurs because, and you could address why. This example sets up the answer to the prompt as a list of possible reasons children with imaginary friends may become adults who like fantasy activities. The next piece of advice is to think about what is the question asking you to do. Pay attention to the question, how and why do children with imaginary companions often become adults who like fantasy activities? There's two parts to this question. First, how do children with imaginary companions become adults who like fantasy activities? For example, what do the readings suggest about this connection? The other part is why do children with imaginary companions become adults who like fantasy activities? Why do you think this happens based on the readings? Your essay would need to go into detail about all of these parts, using the reading set material to support your answer. This doesn't mean you have to agree with everything in the reading set. You can certainly argue against one or more of the sources. Just make sure to explain why you disagree. The WPE graders will be familiar with the reading set, so you don't need to summarize it in detail. Instead, use the reading set material to expand on your own argument. Here's an example of what that can look like. One phase of this process occurs when children who have imaginary companions become children who are good with narrative. Trianfi and Rees demonstrate that there is a clear link between imaginary companion play and children's storytelling abilities. Their study revealed that among children who were 5.5 years old, the narratives of those who had imaginary companions had more dialogue and used more terms that helped to orient their listener to the narrative. Trianfi and Rees stress that this finding is significant because narrative skill in early childhood is linked to reading success and to school achievement. Therefore, children who have imaginary companions are more likely to do well in school. Also, I would argue that this early skill in narrative might make it possible for children to develop the expertise that allows them to experience flow, which is the pleasurable experience of becoming so totally absorbed in an activity that the activity becomes effortless and unself-conscious. Maybe those children with imaginary friends are more likely to become adults who experience flow, not just during fantasy activities, but also when they practice other kinds of expertise. Notice that this example uses the reading set material with some summary, but also directly engages with the material using quotes and paraphrases to explain a main idea. The final sentence echoes back to the prompt, which shows focus. It is important that the graders can differentiate between your ideas and those of the authors of the reading set. This means that you should be careful and make sure to cite when you use someone else's ideas. When you use summary, you briefly spell out the main points of something. When you paraphrase, you reword someone else's statement. A direct quotation is taken directly from the text. Here are a few examples of what summary, direct quotes, and paraphrases can look like. The grid notes are a tool that you can use in the reading, drafting, and editing stages of your writing process. You can use them to make an index of important ideas and quotes in the reading set, and to make sure you're engaging with all the sources in the reading set. The grid notes can help you create an index of important ideas in the reading set. You can see that the student has filled out both quotes and page numbers where they believe that these ideas are discussed. It can be useful to keep an index as it might make it easier for you to see connections or differences between the readings, and will also help you select quotes that you can include in your essay. You can use the grid notes to try to synthesize the sources. This means that instead of using the sources separately, you can use them together to support your own argument. Please don't overlook the resources that are available to you this WPE cycle. Tutoring is available from now through March 10th. We offer both in-person and remote appointments on Zoom. We'll also offer last-minute help on March 14th. You can come and work on your paper and talk to a tutor in a breakout room if you have questions, or if you need someone to take a look at what you've written so far. The specific times for this event, as well as the links to join, will be sent in our weekly mailing on March 10th. Finally, on March 15th and 16th, we will offer draft reviews. When you sign up for a draft review, you are reserving a staff member's time. You will not be meeting with a tutor one-on-one. Instead, you will send us your essay draft before your appointment time, and then your tutor will email you feedback. The link to sign up for draft reviews will be sent via email in our weekly update on March 10th. This concludes the March 2023 WPE Workshop. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us via email. We will answer you as soon as we can. Good luck with the writing process.